There's a four-word phrase that separates great leaders from well-intentioned ones. It is not give more motivational speeches. It's not build a better slide deck. It's not even read more leadership books. The phrase is do what you said. Simple, boring, but radical. In a world where meetings are calendared but never start on time, where promises are made in the glow of a good day and quietly retired by Tuesday, where I'll get back to you has become the organizational equivalent of elevator music. Following through has become a genuine competitive advantage. Following through is not a soft skill. It is the structural skill of your leadership, your vision, your charisma, your carefully curated social media presence. All of it sits on top of follow through. And when that foundation is weak, the whole structure wobbles. In chapter 4 of The Trust Economy, Winston Churchill is remembered for two things: his speeches and his cigars. The speeches were extraordinary. It acts a personal follow through that he was a man who meant what he said. When the Luftwaffe began bombing London in 1940, Churchill didn't manage the crisis from a bunker exclusively. He visited bombed neighborhoods. He stood among the rubble. He looked Londoners in the eye. He showed up. So when he declared that Britain was the principle, inspiring words carry weight only when paired with consistent action. Leaders earn the right to be believed not through eloquence, but through the daily discipline of following through, especially when it is inconvenient, uncomfortable, or unseen. Your team is watching you just as closely. Every time you say you'll send that email and you do, that's a deposit. Every time you'll be at the 9 a.m. meeting and you stroll in at 9:04, that's a withdrawal. The amounts feel small. They are not. Trust compound interest is ruthless in both directions. James Clear gave us a beautiful truth in his book, The Atomic Habits. Improve by 1% every day for a year, and you end up 37 times better. Decline 1% every day, and you decay towards zero. Most people apply this to fitness or reading, but the same math applies to your reliability. Think about what happens when a leader follows through on commitments consistently over 6 months. Not dramatically, not heroically, just quietly, reliably, day after day. People stop wondering if you'll deliver and start assuming you will. That shift in expectation from doubt to default confidence is the compound interest of dependability. Now let's flip it. A leader who follows through on 80% of their commitments sounds pretty good until you do the math. In a team of 10 people receiving 3 commitments per week, that is 6 broken promises every week. 24 a month, the trust account hemorrhages. Here is your 30-day experiment. Track every commitment you make, large and small. Not to judge yourself, but to see yourself clearly. Calculate your follow through percentage at the end of each week. Most leaders are surprised, some are even embarrassed. All of them are better by day 30. Why? Because awareness creates accountability, and accountability creates behavior change. The goal is not 100%. Your calendar doesn't lie. Your intentions might. Your quarterly priorities memo almost certainly does. But your calendar of where your hours go is a brutally honest autobiography. Stephen Covey taught us about the 4 quadrants: urgent versus important. And here's what he found: most leaders drown in the urgent. the squeaky wheel, the full inbox, the constant fire. Quadrant two, it rarely feels urgent. It gets postponed, and your trust account gets quietly debited. Here's your calendar audit. Pull up last week's calendar. Not the week you intended to have, the one you actually had. Ask yourself which commitments had time blocked for them, which were floating as verbal promises. How many follow up items are still open? If a trusted friend reviewed your calendar, what would they conclude you actually cared about? Leadership wisdom without operational structure is motivational poetry. It's beautiful, but forgettable. What you need are systems, repeatable, simple behaviors that convert intention into execution. Brene Brown puts it this way: trust is earned in the smallest moments. It's not an act, it's a practice. And the close the loop method is that practice made operational. Here's the core belief: a commitment is not complete when the work is done, it is complete when the other person knows the work is done. Here's how that works in 5 steps. Step 1, make the commitment explicitly. I'll send you the report by 5. Do the work. This part is non optional. Step 4, notify the person. Check it off. The micro reward trains your reliability habit loop. Zig Ziglar used to say, you were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. Closing the loop is the plan. Your task manager is the preparation, and the trust you build, that's the win. Warren Buffett runs one of the world's most complex companies from a modest office in Omaha, Nebraska, with a remarkably small staff. And he returns phone calls, he answers letters, and he responds to people. Buffett has built a reputation for being reachable and responsive, and that reputation has compounded over decades into something extraordinary: complete confidence that if Buffett says he'll do something, it will happen. He once said it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. The same day response discipline is simple. Any communication involving a commitment, request, or direct question gets a response within the same business day. Not necessarily a complete answer, not necessarily the finished work, but an acknowledgement and a commitment to when you'll respond fully. Their imagination fills with the silence, and it rarely fills it generously. The simple act of saying, got it, full response by end of week, eliminates that silence and deposits trust. Here's a pro tip. James Clear's 2-minute rule applies here. Trust deposits, delivering work before the deadline, proactively communicating delays before they land, sending the follow-up email, starting meetings on time every time, doing what you said when no one is watching, closing the loop, even on the small items. Trust withdrawals, delivering late without warning or apology, going silent when you're behind, hoping no one notices, requiring follow-up from other single transactions. One dramatic act of follow-through does not make a dependable leader. One dramatic failure does not destroy one, but patterns sustained over weeks and months and years accumulate into a reputation that becomes almost impossible to shake. Build the right one. Let's address the inevitable. Sometimes you genuinely cannot do what you said you would. The world moves, priorities shift. Life does not consult your task list before creating chaos. Instead, say, I realized I won't be able to deliver the full report by Thursday as promised. I can get the executive summary by then and the full document by Monday. Does that work? That difference is not just tone. The first apologizes for a broken commitment. The second renegotiates it proactively and offers a path forward. One erodes trust, the other counterintuitively builds it. The leaders who earn the deepest, longest term trust are not those who never falter. They are those who own their faltering with directness, speed, and a clear plan. We promised at the start of this chapter that following through was a radical act. Here's the final defense of that claim. It is radical not because it is heroic, it is radical because it is uncommon. In a world of competing priorities and chronic overcommitment, the leader who reliably, consistently, quietly does what they said they would do on time, without reminders, without a notification when it's complete, stands out like a lighthouse. Not because they are extraordinary, because everyone around them is operating in fog. You do not need Churchill's war rooms. You do not need Buffett's discipline or Reagan's charisma. You need a task list, a calendar, and the willingness to do what you said you would do. That's it. Close the loop today and then leave a comment below telling me what it was. Let's build accountability together. If this episode added value to your leadership, hit subscribe and share it with someone on your team who needs to hear it. Chapter 5, The Credibility Gap. When good intentions aren't enough. I'll see you there. God bless you.